Okay, and then we get to the decline phase of the PLC. So what do we want to do during the decline phase? Well, when the product starts declining and absolute sales start to drop, you need to reduce your advertising expenses, your marketing expenses. You can't spend so much money anymore. Costs need to decrease because you want to retain your profits. Also, people already know about the products, so you don't need to spend that much money on advertising. The other option is to re-establish your product in the market, change its packaging, change its style, change its features, reposition it completely as an entirely new type of product. Some companies during this stage will completely abandon their unprofitable products, the products that don't really make much money, and take the resources that they were spending, like money and people and time, on those products and shift them towards their more profitable products. Right, but some products, even though they are unprofitable, may contribute to the profitability of other products. Why? Because maybe, let's say Apple, their one tablet isn't selling, like their initial version of the tablet isn't selling very well, it's not very profitable, but they want people to see them as a company that has all the different variations of tablets. And therefore they're still going to make that one, because if people can see them in that way, they'll still buy the other tablet products. They don't want to be just seen as a company that makes only one type of tablet. Okay? So even though those products are not profitable, they can add to the image of the company. The disadvantage, of course, is that they may consume too many resources like management's time, keeping an expensive inventory in storage, having a sales force to sell those products, having short and expensive product runs. Remember, if a product run in the factory is longer, if there's more products to manufacture, it makes it cheaper per product. It takes a lot of money to set up the factory just to produce it, so it can be too expensive to keep producing that product. And a good example of this, in fact, even though it's not really part of the PLC, is internet banking. It costs banks a lot more money to run internet banking than what they make from internet banking. In fact, they don't make any money from internet banking. It's free to all their customers, but it costs them a lot of money. But they need to keep internet banking, because otherwise people will simply not continue to bank with them. Right? So that's a typical example. Okay, so when faced with a product that's unable to keep increasing their sales in the decline market, there are three options. You can hang in and try to improve the product's prospects by adding features and things like that. Or you can withdraw the product. You can stop all marketing, stop producing, sell all your assets, and get out of the market. Or lastly, you can harvest or milk. You can exploit small pockets of demand. So a good example there is photographic film. Most people are now taking photos with digital cameras, but there are still small groups of people. Your photography fanatics who are still taking photos with that photographic film that needs to be developed. And so companies that make photographic film can still market their product to those small pockets of people. Okay, so product modifications is an important strategy used through all the stages of the PLC. And they can be quality improvements or style improvements. So making the product function better or look better. And if a firm is even though you can do this during the decline phase, if you can't revive the prospects of the brand, if you can't make it sell better, you have no choice but to pull out, withdraw it, and sell your assets. Okay, and then we're going to look at market acceptance, the market acceptance of new products. So, marketing managers have a better chance to successfully guide the product through the life cycle if they understand how consumers adopt new products. So the PLC and the adoption process are like brother and sister. They go hand in hand, husband and wife. Okay, so what is an adopter? It's a person who buys a new-to-the-world product that has never ever been marketed before. Okay? So, the diffusion of innovation. An innovation is a product that is perceived as new by a potential adopter, by someone who's never had it before. Now, it's very important. It makes no difference if it's a new-to-the-world product What matters if it's new to the individual. So if they've never seen it before, let's say there's someone that you meet that has never ever worked with a smartphone before, and they've only ever known the other analog phones, and you show them a smartphone, even though smartphones have been out for like 6 years already. If you show them that smartphone for the first time, they're like, wow, this is amazing, and you're like, yeah, it's like 6 years old, but to them it's still an innovation, it's still new, it's new to them. So this is important. Innovation has to do with things that are new to the people that have never experienced them before. And diffusion is the process by which the adoption of innovation spreads amongst consumers in a market. So think about a cup of tea or a cup of hot water. If you take a tea bag and you put it into the water, you'll begin to see the flavor. That brown flavor begins to diffuse, begins to spread into the water. That's diffusion. And in the same way, products diffuse or spread amongst consumers in a market. And there are 5 categories of adopters. Number 1, innovators. These are the people that are so excited. They just want, when there's a new product that comes out, they buy it in the first week. They are waiting there in line behind the shop or in front of the shop to buy the product. Then you get the early adopters. These are the people that usually buy in the first year. They want to try out the new, or in the introduction phase. They want to adopt the product. Some of the first. Then you get the early majority. These are the guys that first weigh up the pros and cons. They don't want to buy the first version of the product. They first want to see other competitors come in, check out their options. I would say I'm in that kind of category usually when it comes to new technology. I'm not the immediate firsts, but maybe sometimes early adopter, but more so early majority. They weigh the pros and cons and then eventually buy a new product. And then you've got the late majority, and they're the ones that begin to adopt because their friends have it, because their friends have smartphones and WhatsApp, so they will also get smartphone and WhatsApp. Or maybe they have a smartphone but they don't want WhatsApp, so they only get it when all their friends have it. Maybe you know someone like that. And then the laggards. These are the people that are rooted in tradition and they don't want to get the new technology at all. They wait and wait and wait and stick with the old stuff. Right? And here's a good example of how this looks on a graph. You can see the combination of the product life cycle and the product adoption model together. So let's have a look here. So you can see over here we have the PLC, right? And over here we can see the innovators. They're the ones that get at the beginning when the product is launched. They get the product right in the introduction phase. And I would say that the early adopters are also part of the introduction phase, to be honest with you. But I guess also part of the growth phase. And then we got the early majority. These are a combination of growth and maturity phase, kind of beginning of the maturity phase, the growth part of the maturity phase. They are buying the product. And then we got the late majority here. These are the people that only buy it really because their friends have it, and that's towards the middle end of the maturity phase. And then you got the laggards. These guys only buy the product because other products are not available anymore. The ones they used to have, they can't get anymore, so they have to now buy that product. Okay. Right, and there's just another example of the adoption curve, and there's just other names that are given to those various people. So innovators are known as tech enthusiasts. They're very enthusiastic about new technology. Early adopters are visionaries. They see the future and how this product's going to add value, and they want to be part of that. And then you've got the pragmatists. Those are the people who are very practical. They check out the pros and cons, and is this product really going to work for me? Is it not? I'm not just going to buy it because it's a cool product. And then you got the conservatives. Those are the people who are like, no, I only buy it when their friends do. And then lastly, the skeptics, which are the laggards, and they are skeptical till the very end. Alright, so that is the strategies that you can use during the different phases of the product life cycle.